The House Committee on Natural Resources, Environment, Tourism, and Outdoor Recreation will come to order. Would the clerk please take attendance?
Chair Pahutsky.
Here.
Representative Hill. Here. Arvitt. McFall.
Here.
Hayes.
Present.
Song.
Present.
Martin.
Here.
Preston.
Yep.
Madam Chair, you have 7 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Representative Song moves to approve the minutes from a previous meeting on June 13th. Hearing no objection, the minutes are approved. First up, we are going to be taking up House Bills 5205 and Senate Bill 663 in that order. The House bill is sponsored by Representative Devendorf, the Senate bill by Senator Schenck. We heard testimony on 5205 at our January 17th meeting. The language of SB 663 is identical to that of 5205. We have several cards to read in. We are not going to be taking additional testimony, so if you've provided written testimony, we'll include it in the record. Opposing the bill is Ben Terrell from the Michigan Farm Bureau. Also opposing the bill, Stacey Song from the Michigan Association of County Drain Commissioners. Supporting the bill, Sydney Hart and Phil Agaroff of Eagle. Liz Kirkwood of Flow. Opposing the bill, Tim Langholz from NFIB. Opposing the bill, Mike Witkowski from the Michigan Manufacturers Association. Opposing the bill, Joanne Wisely from the Michigan Townships Association. Opposing, Mike Campagnoni of SEMCOG and Brian Schoaf of the Detroit Chamber. Supporting the bill, David Lossing of the Huron River Watershed Council. Brian Vigue of Audubon Great Lakes. Opposing the bill, Jason Hayes of the Mackinac Center for Public Policy. Opposing, Kelly Turner from the Michigan Potato Growers of Michigan. Opposing, Michael Alimo from the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. Opposing, Jackie Dulce from the Grand Rapids Chamber. Opposing, Ed Noyola of the County Road Association of Michigan. Opposing, Sharon Cecil of the Michigan Realtors. Opposing, Dawn Crandall of the Home Builders Association. Opposing, Greg Bird of the Michigan Vegetable Council. And opposing, John Lamacchia of the Michigan Municipal League. Last stack, friends. Supporting the bill, this is the Senate version. So again, the Huron River Watershed Council. I think most of these are identical.
I think most probably, yeah.
Yeah. Supporting the bill, Melissa DeSimone of the Michigan Lakes and Streams Association. Supporting SB 663, Tim Minotis of the Michigan Sierra Club. Supporting Michigan Tinsley of the Michigan Environmental Council. I overheard that they're identical because it's the 102nd legislature, and I am not going to be the brain trust that brings peace between the House and Senate during lame duck. So, supporting the bill, Marta Johnson of the Climate Cabinet. Supporting the bill, Tom Zimicki of the Alliance for the Great Lakes. Opposing the bill, Dawn Crandall of the Michigan Home Builders Association. And these two are identical. So thank you all so much. I will now take a motion from Vice Chair Hill to report the bill, House Bill 5205 with recommendation. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
On the motion to report, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arvid.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
No.
Preston.
No.
Madam Chair, you have 6 yeas, 2 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 5205 is reported with recommendation.
Thank you very much. I will now take a motion to report SB 663 with recommendation. Motion made by Representative McFall. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
On the motion to report, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arvid.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
No.
Preston.
No.
Madam Chair, you have 6 yeas, 2 nays, 0 pass. Senate Bill 663 is reported with recommendation.
Thank you very much. The committee will go at ease. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Do I gavel back or anything? The committee will come to order. Next on our agenda, we'll be taking up House Bill 6023, sponsored by Representative Pohutsky. Representative, please speak to your bill.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to testify in support of HB 6023, which is a bill to update Part 125, Michigan statute outlining underground storage tank cleanup funding. Currently, Part 215 has an administrative cap that only allows for 7% of the fund's revenue to go towards administration of the fund. This has resulted in lengthened timeframes when responding to claims and invoices due to budgetary constraints. Additionally, the statute as it's currently written conflates claims and invoices, which has caused some additional confusion in the fund's administration and exacerbated previously mentioned lengthy timelines. The bill before you would simply raise the 7% cap to 12%, allow claimants to seek unrestricted closures and more thorough cleanups, and clarify current restrictions to expedite the process. There are people who are much more well-versed in the bill itself to talk to you about it. I'm happy to take questions if they're not as well-suited for the department.
Any questions for the... Okay. Thank you for your testimony. Next up, wishing to speak are Sydney Hart and Bob Reisner from Eagle.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
I just want to start off. I'm Sydney Hard, Legislative Liaison for the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. And here with me today, I have Bob Reisner, who's with our Michigan Underground Storage Tank Authority Administrator. And I want to thank Representative Pohutsky for introducing the bill. This seeks to streamline and improve our processes with the Underground Storage Tank Cleanup Fund in Michigan. And so it's going to be addressing several issues. First, it's going to be clarifying processes for claims and invoices that are submitted to the UST Cleanup Fund. So originally, changes to Part 215 were passed in 2014, and then again in 2017. And since then, while administering the fund, we've identified some areas for clarification and revision, and that's why we're here today. This includes separating the claim requirements and work invoice submittal requirements into two distinct sections, and sets and revises timeframes for submittals and claims and invoices, and then allows administrative review of these documents. The legislation also establishes eligibility for federally recognized tribes to access federal responsibility, financial responsibility, and submit claims to the Underground Storage Tank Cleanup Fund. This legislation codifies their eligibility, which is more inclusive than the statute is currently allowing for now. It also increases the administrative cap that Representative Pohutsky mentioned. So currently the fund sits at 7% of projected revenues in any year. That would increase to 12%. Just to give a larger picture of why that's necessary now, in FY21, we saw an increase of 63% of invoices. And then that's 729% since the inception of the program back in 2014-2015. And so with that 12%, from the 7 to 12% increase, we typically receive $20 million from the fund. So we're looking at it going from about $1.4 million for administration to $2.4 million. So about $1 million increase. The legislation also provides a sunset for the Legacy Release Program, which provided limited reimbursement for corrective action of releases of refined petroleum that occurred before December 30th of 2014. I believe that, if Bob can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that program has not really been active since 2018, the legacy site claims and invoices, and so.
It's been active, but the legacy program was created to kind of help people who, Michigan had a fund through the mid-90s that went defunct, and that was kind of created to help some of those people get over the last hurdle, get their sites cleaned up. It's been open since 2018, and it was really meant to last just 2 or 3 years, and we're in year number 7 now, so we're looking to just sunset that portion of it, which is relatively small part of Part 215.
And so that is the general overview of what the legislation is hoping to accomplish, and we're happy to take any questions. Bob is our area expert here, and so if there's anything that's unclear or that we can provide additional information on, happy to do so.
Are there any cards to read in? Thank you. Liz Kirkwood with Flow is not wishing to speak in support of the bill, and that is the only card we have to read in. Thank you very much, and now we will go at ease.
Committee will come to order. I will now take a motion to report House Bill 6023 with recommendation. Motion made by Representative Arbit. Madam Clerk, please take the call.
On the motion to report,
Chair Pohutsky.
yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 6023 is reported with recommendation.
Thank you very much. Next up, we will be taking up a package on recreation passports. I would like to invite Representative Brixey and Menser if they're available. The package includes House Bills 5428, 5873, and 6219. and there are some substitutes for HVs 5428 and 5873. Rep. Menser, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Representative Brixey is hopefully coming very shortly. She's in another committee meeting, ethics, that's running a little long, apparently. So I want to thank you, Chair, and the members of the committee. I'm here to talk briefly about House Bill 6219 and 5873 and their importance to modernizing Michigan's recreational passport program. 6219 provides an exemption for veterans for active duty and not from being required to purchase a recreational passport. They will have a hang tag, a sticker, or another form to show that they're exempt. We know that our veterans typically report higher rates of mental health struggles and that activity and being outdoors improve physical and mental health outcomes. This is a way that we can expand their access to public benefits that support their well-being without raising taxes. House Bill 5873 would change the formula for the distribution of the funds from the Recreational Passport Program. Right now, the local park grant program gets 10% of the revenue from the Recreational Passport. Under my bill, once we hit a 55% participation rate, it'll go to 20%. This trigger for the formula change ensures the DNR will see an increase in revenue before the additional money is sent to locals. When discussing an opt-out system, the need to increase the value of the recreational passport became clear. By directing more resources into our local communities, we're making the recreational passport program more accessible and valuable to all residents. This investment allows communities to enhance their local green space, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their proximity to a state park, can enjoy the benefits of nature and recreation. And just real briefly, Representative Brixey's portion of this was to change the recreational passport to an opt-out when you renew your registrations, because currently it's different. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Are there any questions for Representative Menser? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Rep. Next up, speaking to the package, we are going to have Director Scott Bowen from the Department of Natural Resources and Chris Semernick from the department. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Pahutsky. Thanks for the opportunity to address the committee on this important question of supporting the future of Michigan's award-winning state parks. As part of this effort, we want to honor Michigan residents, active duty and military veterans by making sure each of them gets free annual access to the state park system. Our state parks are treasures. Not only do they provide access to some of Michigan's most iconic places like the Great Lakes shorelines, Tequamanet Falls, Lake of the Clouds, and our most visited state park, Belle Isle in Detroit. But they also support and promote local economies. Our state parks welcome more than 35 million residents and tourists annually. Those numbers continue to grow. Those growing numbers are putting additional strain on the more than 100-year-old system. In 1970, 68% of our state parks budget came from the general fund. Today, general fund support for parks has dwindled to about 3% annually. The legislature and the governor have provided an influx of capital funding through the Building Michigan Together plan, and we are grateful for that support. But the reality is we manage more than $1 billion in assets in our state park systems. We accumulate $45 million every year in added maintenance costs. Meeting those mounting needs will continue to be a challenge. The legislation before you today will not be a complete solution to our funding needs, but it will help us toward the goal of more sustainably managing this large and complex system. Providing additional funding for state parks will support local parks as well by adding more money to the Recreational Passport Grant Program. From the beginning of our Recreational Passport, our vision has been to partner with local park systems by providing additional funding for their needs as well. Moving to an opt-out model for the recreational passport would increase that pot of money. As a result, local parks could receive more support from the state for the important services they provide to Michigan residents. With a portion of the additional funding we will receive, we'll also plan to provide the free access to active military and military veterans. This service to our country should be recognized and honored. This is one small way to do that. We're grateful for all your support, Madam Chair, for the veterans and for our park system. I hope the committee will advance this legislation so we can continue to build the century-long legacy of Michigan State Parks. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the director? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Next up, wishing to speak, we have Nicole Fisher and Kyle Langlis from M Parks, and they also have a presentation for us.
Thank you. My name is Nicole Fisher, and I serve as the Executive Director of M Parks. Thank you, Chair Pohutsky, Vice Chair Hill, and Vice Chair Martin. And I also want to acknowledge and thank the other Natural Resources, Environment, Tourism, and Outdoor Recreation Committee members. To my right is Kyle Langlois, the Director of Sterling Heights Parks and Recreation. He serves as the President-elect for M Parks and a member of the M Parks Public Policy Committee. Modernizing the recreation passport reflects a broader vision that enhances its impact by ensuring it serves state and local parks. It's not just about the opt-out versus the opt-in. It seeks to update the language on the registration form and layout to improve accessibility and emphasizes its vital role in supporting both state and local parks. A proposed revision to the funding formula highlights the importance of local parks in promoting community health and well-being. Additionally, modernizing includes free access to veterans and active duty military members, honoring their service and ensuring inclusivity. These changes will strengthen the program's impact, safeguard our natural resources, and enhance recreational opportunities for all Michiganders. We urge you to support this effort today. Now, a little bit about M Parks. M Parks exists to advocate, teach, inspire, and unite. We prove that recreation matters. We represent more than 2,200 park and recreation professionals statewide from 160 different municipalities. Our membership includes local, county, and state parks and recreation professionals, vendors, advocates, allies, and students. It's not a secret that the state and local parks and recreation departments enhance the quality of life and serve as a vital engine of economic growth, a hub for community engagement, and a sanctuary for environmental stewardship. Let me ask you this question. What do you prioritize when choosing where to live or relocate your family to a community? Nearly 3 in 4 U.S. adults actively seek access to nearby parks, playgrounds, open spaces, or recreation centers when deciding where to live. Home values have also seen an increase from 8% to 10% from properties adjacent to passive parks. Communities are living in their local parks, not just visiting or vacationing. Parks are an individual's most excellent neighbor. The impact of parks and recreation extends far beyond the physical, emotional, social, and demographic benefits we often highlight. It is also crucial to consider this sector's substantial economic impact on our communities and our nation. In 2019 alone, local parks and recreation agencies across the United States generated $218 billion in economic activity, supporting over 1.3 million jobs. With over 10,000 local parks and recreation agencies nationwide, the workforce behind these efforts is significant, employing over 160,000 full-time professionals and hundreds of thousands of part-time and seasonal professionals. My next question, is there a state park in your district or where you reside? If there is, you are one of the Michigan residents who reap the benefits of incredible state parks in our great state. You have the best of both worlds. Unfortunately, some residents of districts must drive over an hour or so to enjoy the benefits of a state park. Michigan's residents cherish their local parks as daily escapes, while our state parks draw visitors from near and far. The visualization on the screen today presents the distribution of 104 state parks across their respective districts. Imagine adding a dot for every local park in these areas. The map would transform into a vibrant mosaic, justifying the need for more funding for local parks. We must recognize the demand for state and local parks and the increased number of users over the last few years. In 2022, the senior population alone hit a record high of 35% participation in outdoor recreation. This is 1 million new participants in 2022. I can only imagine the increase in 2024. This speaks to who we are as a state and the value of our natural resources, parks, and tourism, especially as tourists in your city, town, county, or villages. The Recreation Passport Program is a pivotal funding mechanism for Michigan's park infrastructure, playing a crucial role in the upkeep and enhancement of state and local parks, a truly beneficial program for all. Next, I'd like to pass the torch to Kyle.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Pohutsky and the committee for having us here today. As we dive a little deeper into our request for modernizing the Recreation Passport, the goal here is to generate more funding for certainly the state parks, but also the local parks as well, which you've heard from my previous colleagues. So the graph on the screen right now is a great illustration of needs across the state of Michigan. It's very well documented that our state parks have a backlog of capital improvement needs, and certainly this plan and the modernization will help to start chipping away at those needs. It's not a magic pill that gets there in a year, but it's something that will take time and something that we can build on over the years. Undoubtedly, certainly in Sterling Heights, but across the state, all of the local parks and recreation departments have similar backlogs. The screen before you today shows over the past couple years of the Recreation Passport Grant Program. In blue is the amount of money that was allocated and granted through grant awards, and in green was the asks from local municipalities across the state. So you can see there's a tremendous gap there that is not being filled due to the funding source that is available to us. Because of this gap, many municipalities, including Sterling Heights, don't even expend the resources to apply due to the low grant awards and the unlikelihood of a grant award coming to us due to the competition. If you could pass. So what makes the Passport Grant so critical to local municipalities? We are fortunate to have access to grant sources like the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund and Land and Water Conservation Funds, but both of those funds really have a very specific priority and focus, which is on acquiring open space and preserving natural resources, hunting, fishing, outdoor recreation. The Recreation Passport Grant, in its creation, was really made for communities as we continue to age and our infrastructure ages to have the ability to have access to funds that will ultimately help us to maintain our parks, renovate our parks, reimagine our parks over the course of time, something that we really can't achieve through the Natural Resources Trust Fund or the Land and Water Conservation Fund. As you can see on the screen, this is a snapshot of all of the projects that have been awarded since 2022 and 2023, and you can see that truly over 60% of all of those projects are renovation-related grant awards, which is speaking to exactly what this grant fund was made to do. So again, why modernize? First, changing the default option to participating in the Recreation Passport Program makes a fundamental change to our messaging and our narrative on the importance and value of parks throughout the state of Michigan, whether state or local. The state has valued quality of life for many years now, as evidenced by the Pure Michigan campaign, and this would serve to put that up another notch. Second, adjusting the formula for allocation within this program makes more money available to local municipalities, which is a win for all Michiganders, even those that do not have close access to a state park. And third, granting free state park access for military veterans and active duty military is a small token of appreciation for those that have selflessly protected our state and country. But more importantly, and as you've heard, provides a mechanism for our heroes to experience the positive mental health benefits that parks offer, no matter where they live. In the end, what do we expect to achieve with the modernization of the Recreation Passport? First, when coupled with a robust educational campaign on the state and local levels, these bills will support quality of life across the state and be a chance for all of us to collectively leave a lasting legacy for future generations to enjoy. Even better is this can be done without raising taxes and without diverting funds away from other legislative priorities. Second, well-kept and renovated parks through this funding will attract more people to the outdoors, contributing to enhanced mental and physical well-being, as well as strengthening community ties, as parks truly are conveners of people, regardless of race, age, religion, political beliefs, socioeconomic status, or any other factor. I am a walking testimony of what investing in parks and quality of life means to a community, as Sterling Heights has been fortunate to make a conscious effort to improve quality of life in our city. Since renovations of our park system and the COVID-19 pandemic, our park visitation and events in our parks have increased substantially. It's where people want to be. This is an opportunity through these bills that we can share this same success with every community across the state of Michigan, making our communities highly desirable places to live, which also results in an increase of economic impact, brings people to our schools, brings people to our communities to spend money. Lastly, this is also something that economic impact can achieve by generating funds to help the economy thrive, creating jobs, supporting various industries that would be needed to support all of the capital improvements on an annual basis. In closing today, I want to thank the committee for giving us the time to speak in favor of modernizing the Recreation Passport bills. We are grateful for the opportunity to talk in support of this, and I also thank my colleagues for setting the table for me today. As is the case, happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for either Nicole or Kyle? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Representative Brixey, I know you were able to make it in from committee, so if you'd like to come forward and explain a little bit about your bill, and I know that there is a substitute before us as well. So,
thank you, Madam Chair. This is lame duck. I hardly ever testify before a committee, and of course I have two at the same time. Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. I'm excited to talk to you about something that everybody can agree on, and that is we love our parks. And we want these treasured resources to be able to be available to Michiganders for generations to come. Our current model isn't funding at the level that we need, as you've heard. And the pandemic did something for our parks. They increased attendance from 28 million park visitors to over 35 million. And post-pandemic, those numbers have stayed elevated. It's a great thing for our state. People who weren't using the parks before discovered them. But life being a double-edged sword, it is a strain on our parks. And we need to figure out a way to properly maintain them and improve the infrastructure to handle this increased participation. Since I first introduced this bill in the spring, I've had many conversations with stakeholders on how best to increase the Rec Passport participation without burdening Michiganders. One of my roles as chair of Ag and Natural Resources in the Appropriations Subcommittee is to work with the department. And I've taken a lot of input from stakeholders and members of the public about the initial bill, and have provided you with a substitute version that puts that feedback from my colleagues and other Michiganders and stakeholders into effect. So this model does not include a mail-in request for opting out, but instead has a modernized approach that encourages opting in, increases awareness of what the proceeds of the Rec Passport support, and gives Michiganders the option to donate extra to support our parks. So we know that we can't sustain our parks without a change. And therefore, I would ask you to support House Bill 5428 to bring a more sustainable revenue source into our state to help improve our wonderful park system. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Are there any questions for the rep? Seeing none, you're off the hook. Thank you so much. Next up, we are going to hear, oh, nope, I'm sorry, that person doesn't wish to speak. We are going to adopt the H1 substitute for House Bill 5428. That motion is made by Representative Pies. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Excuse me. On the motion of adopting the substitute, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, 0 pass. The H1 substitute is adopted.
Thank you very much. And we also have an amendment being offered by Representative Martin, I believe. Do you want to speak to your amendment?
No need to.
All right. Then we will take a vote. I assume you are moving it? Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to amend, Chair Pohutsky.
No.
Representatives Hill.
No.
Arbit.
No.
McFall.
No.
Pies.
No.
Song. No. Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 2 yeas, 6 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you very much. I will now take a motion to report HB 5428 as substitute H1 with recommendation. Motion made by Rep. McFall. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to report, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes. Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
No.
Preston.
No.
Madam Chair, you have 6 yeas, 2 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 5428 is reported for recommendation as substituted.
Thank you very much. I will now take a motion to adopt the H1 substitute to HB 5873. Motion made by Vice Chair Hill. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to adopt the substitute, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, 0 pass. The H1 substitute is adopted.
Thank you very much. Representative Martin also has an amendment that he is offering on HB 5873. I assume that you don't want to speak to this one either? All right. Representative Martin moves his amendment. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to amend, Chair Pohutsky.
No.
Representatives Hill.
No.
Arbit.
No.
McFall.
No.
Pies.
No.
Song.
Nay.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yep.
Madam Chair, you have 2 yeas, 6 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you very much. I will take a motion to report House Bill 5873 as substitute H1 with recommendation. Motion made by Representative Song. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to report, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 5873 is reported for recommendation as substituted.
Thank you very much. We have 2 amendments to House Bill 6219, both of them being offered by Rep. Martin. Do you need to speak to either of those?
No, ma'am, the tie bar won't be affected here.
Okay, thank you very much. So Representative Martin moves his first amendment to HB 6219. Madam Clerk, will you please take the vote?
On the motion to amend, Chair Pohutsky.
No.
Representatives Hill. No. Arbit.
Yes. No.
McFall.
No.
Pies.
No.
Song.
Nay.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 2 yeas, 6 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you very much. Representative Martin moves his second amendment on HB 6219. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to amend, Chair Pohutsky.
No.
Representatives Hill.
No.
Arbit.
No.
McFall.
No.
Pies.
No.
Song.
Nay.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 2 yeas, 6 nays, 0 pass. The amendment is not adopted.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I will take a motion to report House Bill 6219 with recommendation. Motion made by Representative McFall. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
On the motion to report, Chair Pohutsky.
Yes.
Representatives Hill.
Yes.
Arbit.
Yes.
McFall.
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Song.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Preston.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 8 yeas, 0 nays, 0 pass. House Bill 6219 is reported for recommendation.
Thank you very much. We have a large number of cards in support of this package. They will be entered into the record, but I won't make everyone sit here and listen to more of those be read in. We have no absent members to excuse, and with there being no further business before the committee stands adjourned.